A couple years ago, I made a CD called Meant to Be. A preeminent jazz reviewer made reference to the fact that I reminded him, in terms of my phrasing or the sound of my voice, with this great singer, Irene Kral. I didn't know who Irene Kral was, and I, of course, came to understand that she is an icon in the jazz world.
So it was an interesting new chapter when Lauren got inspired to look into the Irene Kral legacy. It was an interesting opportunity to have us bring our chemistry and apply it sort of to a new assignment.
Experiment. Make it your motto day and night.
I've been playing music for 40 years, but 25 professionally.
I've worked with Quinn now for probably about 4.5 years, and we have very different sensibilities. We each come from different kinds of musical backgrounds, and I really feel as if I've learned so much. I brought the Irene idea to the two of them, and they went with it.
I thought it was interesting. It's kind of like whatever she wants to do is cool with me. We'll just see what happens, you know.
The first thing that we did was very much sort of like just an impressionistic painting. Whereas this time around, we're dealing with a woman's life. And, you know, we all had a tremendous amount of respect and sensitivity about honoring who Irene was.
I also think that she was very fierce in her determination to always be better and to always be good. And that resonates for all of us. I mean, that's really all I care about. I just want to get better. Sometimes it's groovy and right on the beat.
Working with Lauren is always a joy because she is so interested in making good music. We go in with the trio and we get everything down together, really. And Lauren sang along. And for the most part, we used what she sang right there. In a pop record, you'd spend 3 weeks on each song with the singer. So we did this as a jazz record. We just put everything down. When we play live, we do what you hear on the record. We added cello later. Jodi didn't track with us. She came in another day.
I met Jodi Burnett through Lisa Herbert, who's part of the group Chambers, Herbert, and Ellis. Lisa said, you really need to meet Jodi Burnett, who is Irene Kral's daughter.
And then one thing happened after another. She was making an album, and you know, a lot of what we've done is over the phone and just kind of get to know each other as friends.
I think it helped us to understand the music, and then we felt inspired to include her on the project. Quinn wrote 2 gorgeous arrangements.
So it was fun. It was a nice challenge. I listened to a lot of different things, pop music that had cello in it, and then wrote a part and sent it to Jodi. Great, Jodi, that was great. Thank you. Clifford Bell is the executive producer on this project, and he was fantastic. He's the one who sort of prodded and cajoled and encouraged.
I had a hand in the creativity of the album as well, although any notes that were played came out of Quinn's brain. He is the master musician.
What was great is that he doesn't get into the nitty-gritty and pretend to fix things that don't need fixing, which a lot of producers can get into. He lets that all happen. None of this would have been done without Clifford.
I love her voice. I think she has such a beautiful, textural, warm, sensuous voice.
I was in my car and I was playing the record to check mix, and this lady came up next to me and says, what is this? That's so great. It's such a mature sound. Such a, just a real woman is singing this music, So I think it was Wheelers and Dealers.
Wheeling and dealing in various large and small things. He's a phenomenal musician. The master Quinn Johnson. He's a really creative guy. He's utterly professional.
Lauren is a musician, so she can go learn things. She can go sit at the piano and teach herself things to sing, which is so helpful. You don't have to pull things out of the singer that he can't seemingly understand, because Lauren does understand. She's a musician.
I hope that the synergy that we created together made something unique.
So I think that we have sort of a little bit of a renegade disregard for other people's categorizations.
But it's not about being popular or whatever. She just wants to make good music.
And Quinn, who I think takes a tremendous amount of pride in what he does, doesn't throw his ego around. He was, in some ways, I think, more open to my input and, more receptive to some of the musical ideas that I had.
She's so willing to learn and try things and allow things to happen. I think it's awesome. So few people let that happen.
He has a deep bench of musical knowledge, amazing piano skills, and also is modest in a way that allows for other people to participate.
Gazing at stars.
You want to hear how many versions of the same song, the same tempo, the same groove, or should we do it a different way?
He has a Latin jazz background, so he brings a lot of that into some of his arrangements, which are fantastic.
Rock me to sleep.
Okay, so Rock Me to Sleep is a tune that Irene did that is not a standard, but it was done as a swing. And so we took it the other way because we made it more of a lullaby, and it turned into a bossa nova, and we added guitar. But it was... something like that. And instead we're going... a bossa nova. That's really all I did, is do the whole thing slower and turn it into bossa nova and do some chord changes.
Rock me.
The trio for this record is Ray Brinker on drums and Trey Henry on bass, who are both world-class musicians.
That's why we call the album Lauren White and the Quinn Johnson Trio. They are a huge presence on the album. There's a lot of space for musicians to play on it. I don't want to sound ridiculous, but you don't get much luckier than this.
Better than losing your head.
Better than anything thought of, better than anything said.
Mitch Ellis, it was a dream come true for me. He came into the studio and not only helped me on the vocals, and he is a true jazzer. He's so cool. His father was Herb Ellis, and he and I did a duet together.
Mitch brought a lot. He had a lot of good energy and ideas and sort of created the duet part better than anything.
Better than dining a la carte or sampling gastronomic art. Better than anything except being in love.
So we did this as a jazz record. We just put everything down, and that's what we had. Piano, bass, and drums are all right there. What you hear is what you get. Woody Woodruff is our mixer, and he's fantastic. I've worked with him for years with Steve Tyrell. He's mixed and recorded big records, Grammy-winning records. He's so intuitive with the sound that he can get.
With every kiss, I know that this is always.
She's very genuine, and she's very real, and she keeps it very to the bone. And she does that with her singing, she does that with her life, and she does that with her relationships. And I really like that about her.
Like the gentle rain.
None of this would exist if we hadn't heard her music, if we didn't love her music, if we didn't hear this singer doing things that no one else was doing in her time. I hope, if anything, that our experimentation with the songs that she chose to sing will lead people to listen to her more. I mean, I'm not in any way interested in comparing myself or having people compare me to Irene Kral. That's ridiculous. There was only one Irene Kral, and she was phenomenal.